I mean,
Miguel
we
just
could
told
tell
me
everyone
that we
about.
were like doing something today, and I don't even know
Yeah.
where I am right now.
Yeah, we're gonna tell them about Devlog. We're gonna tell them how it's like the best fan game ever, and how
Are you gonna put examples up so I can throw them on the screen? Just stream
The
examples of
raging
things.
No.
stuff.
I mean, we can show you some CGs we're working on.
Yeah, if you want.
Ooh,
Yeah, I'll stop streaming. Boop.
Prism, thank you for coming in on such short notice.
Yeah,
Very helpful.
for the
since,
last moment.
God did not want this to happen, apparently.
Yeah, I had like 3 other reservations.
Oh,
I had to
thank you for
cancel.
blowing those off.
Kevin
it
Yard
really
was
shows
too
you how
powerful. God had to
important I
intervene.
What?
am. Huh?
What?
Oh,
Huh? What? Who?
your
Oh,
mama.
Kevin couldn't make it because of his inner got knocked out by tornadoes.
You tell him to stop it.
I did. I did
Yeah,
tell
did
him
you
that
tell
he
him
should
not
stop
to
the
have a
tornadoes.
tornado?
That's
how
rough,
you
buddy.
go, hey,
Yeah,
you
it
tornadoes,
is.
just stop it.
My girlfriend turned into the moon.
We're gonna kick you in the nuts.
No, we've all seen the way that you deal with tornadoes is that you shoot at them with your shotgun, and then they
Yeah.
stop.
yeah, scare
Just
him
tell
off.
them no. They legally
They
can't
learn
take
real
your shit
quick.
if you say no.
Just say I
use
don't
the
consent.
lasso.
No means no.
Or a tornado can't ruin your house if you say no, guys.
Use the lasso, maybe.
Here we go. Here's the CJ. So this is coming from one of the future chapters. This isn't going to be in the next demo, but since Miskits is doing it, I feel like I gotta kind of humble brag by posting this up.
Oh, that is beautiful.
You know, I'm a very big fan of
Dang.
Abigail. Out of the 3, that's probably my favorite. I get it. I'm a minority.
Surprisingly, we did do a poll on Twitter that showed, well, Emily and Becca are in a pretty close running with each other. Emily usually landing on top. Abigail's pretty far behind the other two.
Yeah, Emily's a bit of a
Well,
top.
I know why it is. It's because in the first demo you don't really get to spend any time with Abigail, versus the other two have like I think 2 encounters apiece. She gets 1, and most of that is taken over by Jack Black.
I'm trying to think. I know in the last
Mr.
demo we
Jablinski makes
released.
more impact in that first scene than she does. I will
Yeah.
be honest with you. But that's just
We're
the
trying to
nature
like
of the beast.
slowly.
You're
We're
like,
trying to slowly introduce like her whole like character arc and like her personal situation, the struggles she's facing that are gonna kind of tie into her route, and depending on how you address those challenges, gives you, one of her 4 endings, which could be either
can I get
absolutely-
the Jablinski route?
About it yourself.
which could be absolutely abysmal. I mean, we could do an amazing Abigail E1 where she just, blank, blank, censored blank. Or we could do an Abigail E4 where she gets married to Dev and lives happily ever after.
Mm-hmm.
Has her family finally understand her?
Her whole
Uh,
issue with her like parents is pretty big there.
So, one question is, in the endings with one of the girls, are the other girls gonna be like happy about it for you?
Are they going to be affected by it?
Yeah, like if you get E4 for
That's a good
Emily,
question,
Is it
actually.
just gonna
is
be an
Olivia
E2
and
for
Abigail
Olivia?
gonna be like salty?
Yeah, they're gonna
Olivia. Making a whole different game, apparently.
Oh yeah, Rebecca and
Oh, yeah.
Abigail.
Rebecca.
be, Rebecca,
Yeah, are they gonna
about
be
it?
salty?
She gonna get the E2?
Are they gonna be like,
If
oh,
you
we
get
never
the
thought
E4
about
for
that?
one of the girls, the other girls will try to beat them to death on screen. And you have to complete a mini game in order to make sure that doesn't happen.
It's a zero-sum game.
It
You
turns
want
into a
to
battle
one girl
royale.
is
Is
E4
it gonna
for
be
the
like
other.
a little? Is gonna be a Street Fighter? Or beat 'em up?
And if you don't level up your dev throughout the game, you can just fail. So you got to really work hard on getting them combos working.
Well, look who decided to join.
Yeah, I had a quick question. Why do you hire such subpar writers for your project?
I guess the fact that he's here means that he received Jack.
Well, we try to
Jack's
go with the cheapest people we can find to really make sure that we can get this out quickly.
Right.
That makes sense.
Make sure you can afford it, you know? I forgot to press the transition button for the Abigail art.
But
My apologies.
kind of adding towards Prism's question. A while back, me and the guys, we were discussing about the endings, or what we think were going to be the endings for Devlog, and some of our conversation kind of came up with like, will Dev like cheat on one of them? Like you're thinking
Oh
about
yeah,
going-
can you like cheat on them, like go from
Yeah.
one to another?
yeah, and would you consider that to be an E2 ending, or
I think jumping routes might lock you out of E4. That'd be interesting.
yeah?
Yeah, you get the cup
So-
ending or something.
I feel like that'd be
Yeah,
very
we really-
complicated to add, though.
We really, I mean, it's hard to answer a lot of these questions without spoiling anything, but I will say that we're really not into any sort of NTR.
Yeah.
No, yes, of course. I don't mean like the full like the NPR. I meant so as a way like,
You mean,
hey, I
Can
was,
you swap routes partway
yeah,
through?
can you
And
swap
on the other
routes,
hand,
or if
no,
there's, or if like maybe you accidentally kind of chose like a romance path, like, oh, these options I like, but they actually got you to the romance path to this girl, but you were going for this girl.
So
It-
once you're locked into a path, you're locked in for the rest of
Okay.
the game.
kind of like how they did
Now-
in the other two.
Now we have talked about how I guess overt it's going to be. Like if someone's going to end up realizing, oh man, I'm in a Rebecca route, but I wanted to be with
Or-
Abigail. But we are going to
It's
have
gonna be pretty like obvious. Like it's not gonna
Yeah.
be where it's
Okay.
hidden
There's
that
gonna be
There's
It's
going to
gonna
be
be an
no
obvious
cable
point of
scene,
no
I think, is
return.
how Receiver told me.
Makes sense.
It's
Kate, what?
subtle. Well, what scene?
The cable scene from Snoot.
What?
Oh, he's talking about the
where
cable
you
choice.
Trust a stoner with electrical equipment.
Yeah. So
Oh.
nothing like was really subtle
I
like
was fucking
that.
going like completely brain dead. I thought that you meant like they were watching TV or something.
Thought that fucking
I'm
too.
literally the cable guy.
The choices to get into your route are subtle, but they're also in a way
You
where
can figure it out.
ideally you're not gonna fuck it up. You'd have to be almost trying to, or just really dumb.
and then at the end of the day, there will basically be some sort of overt message or check to let you know what route that you're locked into.
You dream of Beethoven.
Yeah, no, it's
Something
like you dream of
affecting,
getting mad, sloppy
Dev's
toppy
subconscious
from.
will let you know.
Stop eventually.
Floppy.
God,
We were
this
talking
guy.
about
Every
sloppy
time you say the word slop, it doesn't
Slop
matter the
it.
context.
it
Don't
evolves
worry,
immediately.
we already talked about how he is
Hannah
actually
already
currently
bored sloppy.
pregnant.
It's fine.
Yeah,
I hate
you
it
missed
so
the
much.
force, Zach.
Miguel fucking
I
perks
hate
up like a dog whenever you say sloppy.
No, that's not what
Start
happened.
drooling.
She killed him.
Pavlov's experimentation.
Eating anything is vor, hence why everything is called a vor. Omnivore,
It's a
herbivore,
cannibal for
carnivore,
some reason.
piscivore.
I hate
Oh
that.
no!
I hate that you said that.
that you
Are we
Mother.
talking
told
about that
me
now?
that.
You know, oh,
So
I'm
so
gonna
recording
get,
history
get
now
off
just
the
for saying
subject of
that.
war. To get off the subject of war, and back to what we were talking about. Another thing I was going to mention is that one of the criticisms I had, and apparently a lot of people disagree with me about this, with Wani and to a lesser degree Snoot, is I felt
doppelgangers. Yeah, I get it.
the choices
Please,
were
no.
kind of a little vague sometimes in what could be construed as the correct answer or the bad answer, and I feel like we want to be a little more transparent about what that is.
Yeah, some of those options I in Wani were like, stand up for her, and then you just call me a slur.
Yeah, that one was just dumb because it's like
Yeah.
Stop,
Standing up for her was like,
It would be
hey,
different
you're
if-
being a jet. Like, there's ways to stand up for somebody without being like, well, actually.
yeah,
You just
exactly.
yell
It'd be
at them,
different
hey,
if
stop being a dipshit real quick. And
it'd be different if
that'll
it was
be
like
enough, most
even
likely.
somewhat respectable of how he did it. It was much more like he's like, bullying's wrong. It's like,
Bullying's
okay, this is the
wrong.
wrong choice then.
Right.
This is
Yeah.
obviously
She's like,
the
look at this
fucking
guy.
So you kind of want to make the choice a little more vague,
Look at this
I
fucking
guess.
nerd.
so it's not quite as clear. or
I mean,
No, they
it's
wanna
kind of
make
a
it
mix
more
of
It kind
clear.
of
where
ranges.
Mm.
Yeah, some of the choices
So that
Zach
you
and
know, it's
Miguel want it
obvious
more
what's gonna
vague,
happen is what you
or
chose to happen.
the
that
immediate
makes sense.
outcome isn't immediately, well, this is good or bad.
That makes sense then, yeah.
Mostly because we are aware that a lot of people tend to do the whole thing where it's like you go through the story, you pick an option, and then because of the fact that you want to get the good option, you like will scroll back if you think that it's giving you the bad one, where it's like, you know, you pick something and then immediately the reaction is, "Wow, you're such a fucking douche." And you're like, "Oh, okay, well I just put
Oh.
wrong."
Oh no.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, are you guys thinking about when you say like you're going to make it obvious? Are you going to like, because like in games that give you choices, they usually have like the heart icon. Are you going to do like icons or
No, like
No.
it's just more dialogue focused
more
more than
dialogue?
anything.
Okay.
I think a better way of saying it, rather than saying that it's more obvious, is that like what you're presented in terms of the choice is way closer to what the actual thing that you're gonna say is. I mean, it's not nearly as bad as like something like Mass Effect, where you can have the dialogue be, or like the dialogue option say one thing, and then like what your character says is just completely different. Or Fallout 4 is probably a better example of that.
Convince them subtly, and then you call them. Listen here, you rot skin.
Yeah. Or
I've
the
tried to
famous,
play it.
Or the famous yes, no, or wait, it was yes, yes, but sassy, and then yes, but or no, but actually yes.
Yeah.
Which were
For
most
Fallout
of the
4.
options. Yeah. But no, like what we're trying to do is make it more clear that you know what the actual outcome of your selection is going to be. Again, it's hard to kind of give examples without spoiling things, but
I can give an example how I fucked up for something we didn't do. I used to do it where, let's say, two of the options were tell her how you feel or tell her what you're thinking. There's an implied difference there, but they're too close. There's not really a
Okay.
what the fuck does either mean.
Yeah, if I were presented a choice like that in Wani or like Snoot Game, I could sit here and think about it all day, and I wouldn't be able to tell you what the right answer is.
All right. So that I gotta ask, with you guys, I understand you can't reveal much, maybe revealing some vaguely, but have you guys actually started with the process of thinking about the E1 endings for each girls? And
Yeah.
the E2 endings?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've outlined the whole story
All right.
basically all the way through to varying degrees of detail.
including
All that's
possibly
left is
some
the journey
bonus
to get there.
chapters.
Oh.
Yeah, including possible bonus chapters. And while there are some endings that still haven't been fleshed out yet, for the most part, we at least have a blurb written as to what we want to happen in each ending.
Such and such
there are
does
so-
thing with whoever.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's important to understand that whenever it comes to any game development, even you know something more simple like a VN, you should never consider like what you have written down in like your game design document or your plot bible as like 100% set in stone. There's always going to be something that you find while as you're developing the game or the story that you probably are going to have to change, either because of time restraints or you know you just can't do that, or even just you know as you're actually writing the script for the story you might realize, oh wow, this actually doesn't work, or you know this scene actually would work way better if we did this. So
Oh, of course. Of
so
course.
pretty much everything is kind of I don't want to say loose guidelines because that means that we're not really like I feel like that sounds like we're not really taking it super seriously, but like
We got
It's
a pretty
kind of like a
concrete
malleable-
outline, but yes, it's pretty malleable. And then particularly for the endings, I wouldn't be surprised if what we have put down changes because, like Zach said, as you write, you start getting different quirks to the characters, different angles to them. Maybe what we
Yeah,
have
they-
for Rebecca's E1 isn't going to work out because of this scene that implies something slightly different, you know?
Yeah, there's going to be some changes here and there, so like it's totally understandable. It comes with like working on something big as this. Like you have the rough ideas for the ending, but sometimes when you're working through each of the chapters and whatnot, sometimes that ending changes. So I totally understand it. It's more so you guys are putting more thought into what ending does this game deserve, and what ending do these characters deserve from the choices that the main character has made.
Yeah, we know what we're working towards. We have some do's and don'ts, particularly just for what constitutes an E1 versus an E2 versus an E3. But
Even,
other than
like,
that,
what that actually means, like what is the
Yeah.
actual difference between like an E2 and an E1?
I feel
could
Yeah,
okay,
that's
so
gonna-
how I
different
put it
many
is
people.
something E1 is always something that can be a societal tragedy.
we haven't talked about it
And then
since Farian
E2
joined, but
would
he has a
be
lot of
personal tragedy.
opinions.
Right?
Yeah, we did have a lot of debate over this actually. For me personally, I believed an E1 was something that was basically irredeemable. It was basically the nuclear option, something that the
Everyone-
protagonist cannot go back on. They're done with.
It should be
Yeah.
pointed out that I basically agree. The only difference is, or the only sort of like addition to that would be that like it doesn't have to be a choice that the character made. It can just be something that happens. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
even in something like Wani, as bad as Inko was in that, and he was pretty fucking shitty throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like the actual big thing that happened was an accident, but it was something that is complete. Like you can't go back on that. Once that happens, you're probably going to be permanently screwed, just in terms of like your mentality. And obviously, what happened to Olivia is probably going to be permanent. It would be very weird if it wasn't.
Yeah, because
But,
even in a Snoot game E1, I just like to point this out because I don't know how much
There's
people
no coming
think about
back
it.
from that.
There's no coming back from it, but Anon during it is a lot
Oh,
nicer than even E2.
Well,
Yeah.
he's more passive.
realizes-
like the
Well, no.
Yeah.
E1, he like realizes, oh shit, this is on a really bad track, but he's completely powerless. E2, he's
Yeah.
just a dickhead. He's like, yeah, I don't give a shit about you
Yeah,
stupid
E1's like he
non-binary
didn't
shit.
do enough. E2 he did too
I mean,
much.
even the E2, like it wasn't like him himself making an active choice, as he was drinking at that time. So it's like
Yeah, he was drunk.
it was sort of his actions, but it was also like it kind of goes a little bit into possible accident because of not being.
I'm just
fully
saying, even in an
controlled.
ending like E1 where it's something
Yeah.
that's out of your control, it doesn't mean the protagonist has to be a willing participant. Anon definitely didn't want it to go down like it did. He tried very shittily, and it was too far gone to sort of reverse it.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this in drafting the endings. I personally feel that the E4s have actually been the most difficult, in my opinion, to draft. I feel
Yeah,
like
it's
We
hard.
were all
How do you
three
get
of
a
them
Wayne's
at the
World
time.
ending without
It's
making
hard to
it seem
come up
unrealistic?
with a happy ending.
Yeah.
Not-
more or less.
It's not just that; it's also like how do you keep them original as well? Because
Yeah.
like, let's be real. If you think about like I like to call the E4 like the hallmark ending, where everything ends well and everything. There's surprisingly like a very clear sort of like script that most people probably would follow whenever you're gonna do it. It's like, oh, they live happily ever after, they get married, they have a kid, they have a little house that's all nice or something like that. It's like very standard stuff, but you need to make sure that the ending is very centered around that character, something that kind of clearly makes it shown that they've grown as a person, and kind of like not just like that they're getting a good ending, but like they kind of deserve it for all of the growth that they've gone through.
All right, so
Yeah.
I
Oh,
would
yeah.
argue that E3 is actually the hallmark ending, where it's the
Ah.
traditional guy gets girl and they get to live, and it's all very sappy and sweet. And E4 is the Wayne's World ending, where everything goes well for fucking everyone.
You also
no
have
matter how
to.
small a part they play, everything goes well for everybody but one guy who is the antagonist.
I kind
mean,
of disagree. E3
Yeah,
Snoot
I
is very clearly bittersweet. There's undertones of
Yeah.
like they're not the same people anymore. And then E3 Wani, I fucking love the final frame. I think it's way better.
Yeah.
That should have been. It should have gone that into E4.
I
Yeah,
can't
whenever
even
you were saying
remember
that E3 Wani is a lot more realistic.
That says.
Who said
Yeah,
they
I
can't
mean,
remember E3
even-
Wani? Shoot that man.
Me.
Like
Me.
yeah,
Shoot me, dude.
I
Please.
guess the point is that like for E3, it is like a bittersweet, but it's still considered kind of like a soft good ending, where you see the sort of potential, as in yes, things are not super great right now, but there's a very clear indication that things very likely could improve.
Yeah,
It just
like
it's gonna
things
take effort.
things can get better.
Hmm.
Like that's how I felt because I when he showed me E3 for Snoot, I was like, that's a nice ending. He's like, well, no,
Yeah.
she's broken, and I'm like, yeah, but broken people don't stay broken forever.
Well, I also had to explain to you like how broken she was compared to like
Yeah,
E3
but-
wanting.
If you think about it, though, she's so broken because no one was there to support her.
Just to be
Yeah.
clear, are we fine with like talking about spoilers for the games? Because I mean, most
I mean,
people
the-
probably played it, but
I don't
like,
mind it.
I would hope so.
Yeah,
I would
very
hope so.
clearly
Really
played it.
surprised. Yeah.
I mean, if they weren't here, I would be surprised if they.
I've
found
also
a
said
way
it
into the
before.
Server without playing either of them.
Spoiling, I mean, only does so much. I think
Mhm.
that's a really good picture that I just posted.
I-
At the same time, you gotta see it in context.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta experience that
I
because
have
like
to still go through E3.
I've been
see, there you go. You're spoiling shit.
I mean,
I don't give a shit. Play the game.
I skimmed through it. I just don't know the
I've
details.
been spoiled a little bit by the fan art and stuff, but I have learned that once you play the game and experience it, it doesn't ruin it. The experience, you still get that experience.
I don't want to say you're obligated to see literally every aspect of a piece of media when you enter the
Mhm.
community, but if you're in the community, you're kind of playing with a loaded gun. So
Yeah.
I try not to like do massive spoilers, but that art piece is like even not the inspiration, it's the outline for the OST.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see what you mean.
Yeah.
Alright, I have to hop off. I have to get ready for work. So have a good night, everyone.
All right.
Good
night,
night.
Bye,
Prism.
Witch Slave.
So,
Right.
so I'm very. Another thing that me and my friends also talked about is dev and alcohol. Since you introduced his parents kind of being alcoholics in a way, and I don't know if you could tell. Again, sorry if this is like a question that you can't really answer fully. But do you have any plans for like with Dev and how he interacts with alcohol and how maybe the cast kind of like see it like, oh, hey Dev, why aren't you drinking with us?
Why ain't you
Or-
partying? I'm
Mhm.
18 years old. That's illegal.
It will be touched on. It will definitely be touched on. It's actually come up while writing scenes that involve alcohol, how Dev's going to interact with it, and what his tolerance or desire to drink would be.
Yeah, it's not going to be like a every route thing, I don't think, and it's not like E1 is always going to default him to some alcoholic bum, but it is going to
Here-
be important to him.
Here's my question: are we going to see his parents? Because we haven't seen parents in other.
Are they also faceless
It-
and bald?
it has-
Parents are illegal in Snoot, so I don't know.
Well,
It hasn't
what?
been
This
confirmed,
ain't
but
Snoot, is it?
Snoot adjacent.
yeah.
Well, it
So
ain't
it ha-
Snoot.
Mo, shut up. It hasn't been definitively confirmed with us yet, but I do have an ending drafted that involves Dev's parents.
I think
Alright.
E4 in general would have them.
I mean, the big problem with a lot of that stuff is just the amount of characters. Because, I mean, yeah, they are part of his story, but his story is kind of separate from them. I mean, for example, it'd be very weird if, in the E4, all of a sudden they show up and they're like, Dev, we're completely sober. We've been sober for a whole year and we're never going to touch alcohol
There's
again.
a much more subtle, non-committal way to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Olivia's
If they showed
dad
up, I
in
imagine
E1,
literally one sprite for each.
the only
no
time we
emotion.
ever see Olivia's dad
They
is in
show up and they're
E1.
like, Dev, they hit the Pentagon, Dev! They hit the Pentagon!
we had to fly all the way out here.
Pentagon. Fuck.
There was a second
I could see them making an appearance in some of the better endings to kind of juxtapose their sort of path in life and what they've chosen with whatever sort of success that Dev has enjoyed in that ending.
I mean, even
And
like a possible bonus chapter that kind of goes over like Dev's past is. I should point out that whenever it comes to the bonus chapters, and actually even just kind of story in general, I guess this is another thing that we could talk about. We kind of want to have it where like learning about different aspects of the characters and all that isn't just like, if you want to learn about Abigail, you're not going to get all of the information in just Abigail's route. You're going to get little tiny bits in Emily's route or in Rebecca's route in different situations that they're in. And likewise, some of the characters, the background characters, or even the main cast might get fleshed out more in some of the bonus chapters, because we kind of view those as like stuff that wouldn't fit in the like the core plot that we're kind of going for, because
Yeah, so to get ahead of the allegations, people criticize Kavenon because the bonus chapter is like, it's just a band-aid for all the issues people had with the story. It's not for us. We're planning to use it for stuff that just realistically we don't want to ham-fist in.
Yeah.
Stuff that wouldn't necessarily come up.
You're planning
Stuff
to
that maybe
use-
would, but off screen. Like,
You're
Dev
planning-
and the LI might have a heart-to-heart,
You're
but
you're
we're not gonna
planning
show
to
all that.
use these as like building blocks for these characters. In a way.
Yeah,
I think that's kind of accurate. I
That's
think
sort of
it's. I try to view the bonus chapters as kind of like a more lighthearted way of addressing situations
course.
that don't really have a place necessarily in the story.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you think to yourself, "Hey, it'd be fun to see Dev and Emily in this situation, see what would happen," but we don't have a spot for something like that to occur in the story, that's what we'll use the bonus chapters for.
Yeah.
What if Dev and Abigail went and played paintball during the winter, and oh god, Abigail becomes a Finnish sniper, and the other team is a bunch.
Jesus. Way to put the White Death in your game.
We're gonna basically make it a 1-for-1 recreation of Snoot of Darkness.
Yeah.
Alright.
It'll be unfinished. No.
Or Black Hawk Down.
All right, Blackie.
Saving Private Ryan. There's a lot.
I'm
of
your
more
biggest
medium-
fan, Miguel, okay?
she
I've
might-
never been a
Coke
detractor.
as well.
You sure about that doppelganger receiver?
I only want the best for my
No
little
one will
boy.
fucking understand that reference.
I'm not fucking going
That's-
into it
that's the
either.
point, that's
You
the
can
point.
join the devlog server and harass us there.
No, receiver, I think I'll harass you here. Where I have control.
I criticized. I very lightly criticized one of his mods. If we get too into it, he's gonna start yelling at me again.
We have an abusive relationship.
To get off of that topic, one other sort of way that we've been working on more recently, and it should be in Chapter 6, is we also kind of want to have ways of engaging with the game, like outside of just, going through the story, because for the most part, the story is, it's... I don't want to say that it's linear, as in, it's like, oh, you just press a button and it just goes forward. But,
it's like any other visual novel. We definitely have a bit more choice than, say, Wani and Snoot.
Yeah, but the thing that we're trying to add in is like basically a phone that acts as a way for you to engage with the characters outside of that story as well. So you'll have like throughout the story, you'll have like little text conversations that pop up either in like group chats or private chats with the characters that are just kind of like them shooting the shit and kind of having conversations.
And you can just choose to ignore them the entire game, and then they
Yes.
stop inviting you to things because they think you're an uncomfortable person.
Well,
That's how you get easier,
Like
I'm sure.
well, like the bigger point is that like it's more like seeing how they kind of interact, even outside of the story. So you're able to have these little unhinged conversations that they have.
And generally speaking, it can be ignored. It's not like you need to, I don't know, check every message.
There's
you
not
get
going to be
from-
something hidden of how you get the E4 in any of these texts. Let's put it that way.
No, I think you have to
funny-
deal with it fully to get E4, so you grow as a person.
Could I ask if you ever respond to these text message, do you think you could also get like a bonus option to when you're talking to that individual person? Like there's like a new option, like, oh, there's a new option. You get
Oh,
something
yeah.
I can see an
didn't,
effect in dialogue.
Yeah,
It
like
didn't
it's
feel very-
possible, but it would be like completely bonus stuff. Like Receiver said, it's not going to be where like, Emily asks you a question in a text and you ignore that text, and then all of a sudden you're locked out of the E4 because you didn't answer whether or not she likes nuggies or not.
Oh, of course. I don't mean it being like impacting or whatnot.
If we did what you're suggesting, it would probably be
Funny
like at
enough,
the very end.
one of the sources of inspiration, because this is going to be a fully interactive phone that has various apps you can go in and out of. And funny enough, one of the sources of inspiration was actually GVH's Twitter-based system, where as the game goes on, tweets pop in that you could scroll through and view and
Yeah,
all that good stuff.
That's another thing that we did want to try to do is have like a little Twitter. So you'll have like because I don't know how much people have like been paying attention to our server. We're trying to have it where like there's background characters rather than just like the silhouettes that you see in Wani. Like they're not going to be like part of the plot line or anything like that, but they just kind of are meant to flesh the world out. Like those guys might pop up in the Twitter, saying something or talking about what's going on at school or so on and so forth.
Because
Yeah.
one of the only good parts of GVH's writing was the unhinged shit as the meteor was coming down.
On top of that, I've also been able to work a lot of mini games into some of the projects I've worked on with RenP, mostly Snoop mods, and I'd like to kind of incorporate that into devlog a little bit too. So mini games here and there that will, actually have some sort of an impact on at least dialogue, if not the actual story. But that will be in there too.
Oh, we might be able to
you,
tie it to an achievement, getting a perfect game of X, Y, or Z.
Yeah, you're playing paintball with your boys, and then if you fail the paintball minigame, Theo does get shot in the dick and he
I was
dies.
going to say, if you nutshot someone, instant game over.
No.
It immediately cuts to the E1 of whatever character you're on.
I mean, we have started rolling out Easter eggs like that. I mean, the snoot boop. I mean, look at that. We could have that impact something.
Kevin,
Exactly.
did the storm pass over you? Are you safe?
It's a small break in the weather. It's supposed to hit even harder in a few hours, but my internet just came back, so I'm popping in.
Make sure you throw rocks at the storm to scare it away.
I only have bricks. Will that work?
Sure.
Were
Maybe a
those
bit
bricks
overkill,
part of
but
your house, or were they
you
just
got to
in a
do what you
pile
got to
in your
do.
yard?
What?
Were those bricks part of your house, or were they just in a pile in your yard before it?
Conveniently
No.
placed stack of bricks.
They were hidden under a layer of sod, like in my backyard. When I bought this house, I did not know I had a patio made of bricks.
So
Dang,
free
you get
bricks.
free
Uh-huh.
bricks.
Free bricks.
Miguel, I actually have a question for you real quick.
Yeah.
You mentioned like you want to bring like mini games into like dev. Like, can you give an example? I know you said like a paintball one or something, but are there like other examples?
Are you gonna put the
Right.
tier of games like isn't Did Dinosaur with double D's?
I mean, I haven't played that.
We're trying to get him to play it.
Surprisingly.
It was a magical
thinking-
experience.
I'm thinking, for example, one of the earlier mini games I did was like a rhythm mini game, so stuff like that.
Okay.
So we're going to
Possibly
mog
like a clicker
GVH.
mini game, possibly like an item search mini game. I have something like that worked on in Snoot of Darkness right now. So yeah, stuff like that. Interactive scenes too, like for example, what we did in Snooty Doo, or we're trying to do in Snooty Doo. Stuff like that. I think I'd like to see take a pretty larger presence in devlog.
Okay, that's cool.
Or even I mean, I don't know if you would count it as a mini game, but I did the whole like character creator thing in
I'd say so.
chapter
Zach
3.
loves his character creator.
Yeah, and if you make Sloppy the OC in the character creator, Dev will comment that it's the worst thing he's seen in his entire life.
God,
Do we actually
damn
have
it.
an option for sloppy? I don't think we do.
I thought we did. I thought we talked about that.
I don't know. We definitely have a no, because someone said the word slop in one of the options. You're like, "Oh, is it a sloppy reference?"
No, wait. I
It's
remember
totally gotta
it was,
be an
it
Easter
was
egg.
because
And then he blew
It was
his load
because
everywhere.
he's-
It was very messy.
because Dev says it doesn't just look like some generic bad OC or something, and I was like, we should replace the word bad in just the sloppy instance with OC slop. Instead of just some generic bad OC, some generic OC slop. It'll just be a joke for me, even though I'm the one writing it, so it wouldn't really surprise me or anything, but I would be
Miguel
satisfied.
shills this idea like he makes money off of it.
He might. He might just.
I mean, at the end
he
of the
burns
day,
money on it.
a lot, yeah. And according to a lot of people on 4chan, that's where all the devlog funding is going. But I gotta
I
say,
mean,
man,
it's like how all
come on.
the Columbo mod funding is going straight to Stella feet pics. So.
Jesus Christ.
Which
I don't like any part of that part.
almost no dollars.
I was just gonna say you haven't ordered any feet yet.
He paid a homeless guy to like draw some grippers, and then he said, "Yeah, paint them green."
Oh no! I don't like any of
This
this.
is real.
Huh? No.
This is a real character trait. You should believe everything you hear
Yeah,
all
you
the
should.
time.
You should every negative. Throw out every positive thought you've ever had about me, and only take the negative. That's the real me. I'm evil.
I'm gonna work on them right now. I'm gonna do that
Kevin
right
has
now.
a sniper rifle pointed at my head. And he says,
I'm gonna make Stella feet right now. You can't stop me.
If I tell him one lie,
That's
he's just gonna
crazy.
shoot me.
I hate it so much.
Make that the banner when he does that, by the way.
I'm gonna throw up.
It'll be clean.
Mo, are you sober
No,
or
no,
not?
the
Or are
fun
you
part's when
fucking?
there's shit on
We
your
already
feet.
checked.
No, I am sober right now. I didn't start smoking yet.
You know, I have not
My
started
feet are
drinking
just
yet.
fucking disgusting.
Uh,
I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. Fuck all you. Feet are disgusting and
Listen.
Don't tell Ignacio, okay? He's
Okay,
we don't wanna
so
spawn with him.
the
He'll
further
jump in this
away
ball so fast.
from the scalp you get, the more disgusting people find the fetish. Except for the scalp, which they're just like, "What the fuck, you?" And
I'll be
yeah,
real,
I
I
concur.
kind of zoned out for a moment there. I have no idea what you're talking about. Something about
I-
scalp or something.
I don't
Feet and
either. I'm just
scalping.
saying words. The lower you go on the person, the more yuck it gets. In general, is what
Oh, that's false.
Yeah, I'd say it's kinda-
explaining yourself.
Yeah, tell me someone who has an ear fetish. Someone who sees ears and
People
they're
that
like,
Say
oh.
that.
There
Well,
are
easily
people
people
that
that
Anybody who
want to-
stands Ashley from Resident Evil.
What the
Okay,
hell?
Say
an
that.
ear fetish is worse than a boob fetish.
Whatever you do,
I'm not
don't
sure
look up
boobs
your
are a
fetish
fetish.
Reddit.
That came free with your birth.
Okay, Startman, what about
Am I
an
still
armpit
with my
fetish?
Happy Meal?
That's weird.
I
That's
According
also
to
pretty
that
weird.
train of logic,
Conversation.
though, an armpit
Zach.
fetish would be more normal than a big booty fetish.
Right.
And I just don't see that.
I never claimed that I was a normal
Evolutionarily
person.
This is a poor premise that Oates has presented.
Listen. Listen.
Your dialectic is flawed, sir.
The further you get from the torso, how about that?
They don't
Never reflects the streamer, let's go.
Well, if it's further from the torso, then armpits would be much more popular.
I'll say
Sorry,
the torso
my fault.
is, though, like a large portion of the body. You're just talking extremities at that point.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? There are people with hand fetishes, and I'd say that's pretty weird.
Hey,
I
there are people with
think-
fetishes
I
with
think-
the absence of certain features. You
Yeah.
know, like nuggets.
Yeah, I know a few people like that actually.
Wheelchairs.
Well,
Aww.
we've learned from devlog apparently how many people have a muscle mommy ab fetish, and apparently it's a lot.
That's been getting popular. That's been getting very popular.
Yeah, in recent years.
I've
that's
read.
quite
Well, you know, we are
Miguel's
goon
posts, okay, so
And it is just buff. Everybody likes a buff lady.
Yeah, the amount of times that in the notes Miguel's written homolomongodogus for boobs, I think twice at least.
which is like, you know, it's weird that it happened twice.
But it's less than I would normally do. So I gotta say, I've really dialed it in this time.
He's improving.
He's
Hey,
really
can we get a
started
Moushly
walking in.
reference somewhere in devlog?
No.
Moushly.
Yeah, the mouse version of Ashley.
Yeah, can you have a mouse say cheese to meet you?
Yeah.
or
comment
you
on how
don't
much
dare
cheddar
take
you
the
have in
name
your
of Texas
pocket.
in vain.
Someone pays us $1 billion, we'll insert their shitty
consider it.
furry OC and immediately kill them.
Don't do that to Hannah.
You're gonna pay us $1 billion?
Hannah's the furry OC.
No.
I meant like full on anthro furry. We're not going to explain how they got there, and then just immediately kill them off.
Can we kill the fox?
So
That's what exactly what I was thinking of.
I was gonna say, like, is this
so basic
related
to
to a
that,
certain
too.
mod that we played last night?
Yeah. Would have been way better if she just got hit by a bus at the end.
Yes.
So, also, speaking of devlog development, our hope is to kind of be able to get out 2 chapters roughly each month. And we brought on now 2 more people to do coding. We have currently, Receiver and Farian doing writing. So, the hope is, I guess, that each...
Fuck you.
Barely.
I mean, I guess.
Not only
but-
do they have devlog and their own fix, but they have the vastly more important duty of writing Columbo for me, obviously.
And only one of those things is going to give us a future. So I'm sorry, Zach. I got to take a step back.
Yikes. Yeah, we have also, Zach, what's like Arloc's official role? Is he just like an advisor or
He's
consultant?
like a contributing writer.
Yeah, well, more just like consultant, I guess, to helping us
Oh,
work
yeah,
on
that's it.
the
Now we speaking of coders, Jack was the first one I reached out to because he's gotten really good at Renpai. Then Soul is also going to start helping us out too. So between me and Zach also helping with coding, I think we got a pretty good team.
Yes, and of course from his work on Anonymous
Devlog
Cinder,
is the
Jack
fan
is
game that
the
I'm
star.
most excited for because it seems like your team is managed very well.
Oh, I thank you.
Well,
the
I mean,
beatings
as
are
well as
for.
a bunch of people over Discord can be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like
You're
you
getting
said,
things
like-
done at a pretty quick pace, at a high quality.
Yeah,
And
was
I
gonna say-
think
Sorry.
I think another good thing about it is too, between the community support, myself, Zach's contributions, and in the near future also merchandise sales, I really don't see funding ever being an issue with this project either. I really think that we have, we're never going to be budget limited with this as long as we keep it to the scope that we currently have planned. Which we had some people criticizing us for starting to branch out into merchandise, but that's
And they're going to
primarily
be
the
right.
reason.
They're going to be the most right people who don't make $1 billion.
Pavement on, right? I don't think so.
No, they're going to be right. They just don't make $1 billion.
I'll give them this.
Well, they're
I'll
also
give them
hypocrites.
this. Maybe the body pillow is a step too far, but hey,
You
if
know,
I can make
I-
money on it,
Is
I'll
it
do
I don't
it.
know about
I-
that.
Is it though?
If I can make money on it, I'll do it.
I don't think there's. I'd be really interested. It's one of those things where as soon as I hear it, I'd know. But like, I don't think there is a line for what would be too far for merchandise.
Fleshlights.
Maybe
Yeah,
sex
The best
toys.
dragon. The best.
But that would be
You
like.
fuckers would still buy it though.
I was gonna say, well, like
Well,
that's
no,
it's not like we're a Christian game community server or whatever. So it's like that's still on the board. Maybe
Guys,
after the
put in
game's
the
out.
chat if you would like us to reach out to Bad Dragon for an official Emily.
We've had a lot of
Actually,
people.
no, you secured
I
that
would
deal.
say- I would say that the worst that's gonna like be a nail in the coffin is you just start doing NFTs with this.
Oh, that'd be too much. That's too.
Are those
Yeah.
even like those aren't even a thing? Like even if
No,
we're
well,
talking about like
like-
making money, I don't even think it's possible at this point.
Well, they're still a thing, but yeah, no, they were always a scam, and they're definitely on. The
Yeah.
Except for that.
I mean, there comes a point where grifting allegations start to hurt your reputation significantly.
But
I
if
think
you were to
eventually-
like,
an NFT
if you
for
were
this
to sell-
exclusive NSFW scene.
See, my NFT of Rebecca has a shoe missing.
I think like
Well, Ignacio.
Ignacio. Yeah, Ignacio would
pretty
bid on
decent
that.
starting point, you know.
He'll buy it.
Honestly,
for,
I'm more concerned about her walking,
billion.
dude. I mean, with a shoe missing, bro, she's gonna be fucking like stumping around like
Off
crazy.
balance.
you know?
Have her take off the other one too.
Yeah, it's
no,
like
but,
fucking
I
6
think-
inch
I
platform.
think-
I think she should take off the other shoe, and her feet are very stinky. So if they touch my feet, that would be funny, guys.
Add
It'd be
me
real
sniffing
funny.
it, please.
That would be
Thank you.
funny.
Anyway, I think like the shaker cup is like a really good like starting point for merch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why did we think
We-
of that?
Yeah.
So right now I have everything set up to produce stickers, basically just vinyl gloss stickers. The the infamous body pillows are almost finished. The design process is almost finished, but I've gotten a couple prototype designs sent over to me from the manufacturer, and honestly, they're pretty good quality from what I'm concerned. So.
Yeah, he
Of course,
definitely,
I
tried
can't
to,
buy
you
any
know,
of
make
these
sure
body
that you
pillows
were-
because I have a brand to
Or
uphold.
he
But
did the quality
I think it'll
assurance test.
work.
Hey, I can't
gangbusters
replace
in
my
your
Fang body pillow, okay?
I can't replace the Stella body pillow.
I think the images you're using for stickers would still work really well for keychains.
Yeah. Yeah, keychains are somewhere on the list. I know you
And of
suggested
course,
enamel
like
pins too.
T-shirts are the classic thing.
Enamel pins or acrylic pins.
So
Would also
t-shirts
work.
are more difficult because the thing is that unless you're going through a manufacturer, it's very difficult just to deal with like the just like how many you need. Just everyone has different body sizes. You can't really account for, you know, what you're going to need for a specific size, and thus, you know, you might have to deal with like over ordering one over the other or anything like that. I mean, I assume that, you know, in the Snoot fandom, we're probably going to have to order a crap ton of XXXXLs, but you know.
I'm a
Damn, he called you fat.
expected on my doorstep next
Damn,
Tuesday.
you should
All right,
say that on
listen, listen here. I feel personally called out, you son of a bitch.
I wanted to say, in regards to the fact that our team seems so strong, I want to say it's because at least the core, which is us three, and not to dog the others, it's just we're all very autistically committed to what we do. Obviously, Zach and Miguel are very business-minded, and Miguel bought an entire fucking sticker press, and he's fucking full force into the Twitter, which is getting a lot of people. Zach is making assets like fucking crazy, and he'll say like, "Oh, we could use this like single asset this one time for this one scene," and he'll make it, and it doesn't like slow down production. And then of course, you know, I'm able to put out chapters now. Farian is able to help with that even faster. I think the main part is we also don't hate each other. I don't know if the other teams do. I don't want to say that. It's just we like each other, so there's no real friction.
Well, hey, if you're looking for more sticker design slaves, you know, I'll do it for free.
Go.
I mean, I'd possibly be down. Right now, we have like 6 designs. No, I'm sorry. 2 designs of all 6 cast members. So, you know, 12 total designs, and we could obviously expand on that a lot. But
Can I get at least one design of the counselor dressed as Big Boss? Oh,
Get
thank
that
you,
off my
Kevin.
screen.
Now the
Get that
stream
off my
sees the
screen.
goddamn grippers. Thank you.
We'll make some Stella grippers.
Well, we
How do I
actually-
know- how do I know
Hold
there's
on.
some man grippers?
I'm
huh?
doing those now. Hold on, I'm getting it. I'm getting there.
I don't want to see this.
Can we make
Yes,
this
you do.
a channel
Shut your eyes,
banner,
Mo.
please?
Ban this man.
No, he's too important to my way of life.
we do have gremlins of more than just the 6 main characters, so I can expand on that.
I know that Sam has a gremlin.
Yeah, her Champy does too. And whoever we don't have, one of the people working for us is I don't like to use the term art slave, especially when they're from Eastern
Not in
Europe.
public.
So I'm gonna call them an art serf. That's the term that we usually use. So this little Belarusian dude does a lot of our art.
Sorry, Riker, I don't have enough subscribers
And
to
he's
emojis.
and he does it for only a couple turnips at a time. So I'd say we got a good like ROI there, you know.
Could you hook me up so I can get a gremlin? I just want a gremlin of my OC.
No.
So bad.
Anyway,
Please.
so
Anybody? I mean, I'm willing to help if anybody needs something.
how about this for moral support? I need some sloppy DOC art. That would really boost
Hold
my
on, haven't
morale.
I have provided that for you multiple times.
Yeah,
At
but
least
this time
once.
it's to support the team, you know. Give me a
Yes,
a
moral
morale
support
boost.
this time.
You know, sometimes Miguel has some bad mental days, and he just
for
you know,
everybody.
He needs some
We'll put
sloppy.
him. We'll put him in the college's cheerleading outfit.
Funny enough,
Says receiver, please do the Fang voice, and I'm like, I can't
Oh,
do
nice.
that.
There you go.
I love it when
Make it
receiver
work.
does the bang voice
Yeah,
too.
I see those grippers.
Oh,
Good job, Kevin.
Live goose
What's the
gooning
Fang
session.
voice?
Nice.
Please.
Well, that's
He's no
for
gooning in VC.
Well, that's for Goose later.
Yeah, I'm saving this for a later date, a rainy day, if you will.
Yeah,
It's like how
He's
I
saving
have
it to his
color
brain
if
for
I don't have
redundancy.
people
I'm
constantly
gonna
making
go
me Stella
blow my
art.
brains out. Goodbye.
Hey, if it makes
You
you
just
feel any
color them
better,
like
this isn't Wall Stella. This one wears shoes.
you could just color them like purpley,
Kevin,
like
you know
pink,
I don't
like
mind
for
Wall
Becca,
Stella at
and then
all.
just sell it to Miguel. Not Miguel, Ignacio, for $300.
Oh, Ignacio.
I don't think Ignacio has much money. He's from like a third world country, I think.
Yeah, he only has like
I think
Chilean
the rain's picking
pesos.
back up.
He's from
I'm
Chile.
gonna go ahead and
Do
dip.
they even have
Sure
money
did
like
my
that?
text.
Do they even know what the concept is?
Don't they like
real
trade in
money
like
is.
beads or something? Honestly, that's kind of
300
cool.
of
I'm glad
finest
that
beads.
his lasting impact right now is just the green grippers. I think that's funny.
Horrendous.
Also, I've been noticing some art of like background characters you made, and I found this one on Snoopboard.
You might need to be careful with what you're sending us.
Yeah, you may want to be careful.
Yeah,
Don't worry, don't
It's immediately whatever you put in chat immediately shows up on screen. By the way.
Yeah,
Nothing too saucy.
it's nothing too saucy.
Zach, do you remember me drawing for you the Impreg Theo?
Here it is. Just-
No.
Ah, yeah, that's douchebag slut.
Wait, that
No,
went
that's
out?
Vanessa. My boyfriend drew her. Let him name her.
That was
It's up to Zach.
That's not how that works. That wasn't part of the contest.
Either way, her speaker definition will still pop up as douchebag slut. There's
Technically,
arrogant
family
douchebag, crayon eating douchebag, and douchebag slut.
These are very important character traits for them.
Douchebag, that's great.
he drew her topless.
Sort of.
Oh.
Just because he's not that good doesn't mean he didn't do it.
But yeah, so this is kind of like a tertiary character for Chapter 5.
Well, I like her design, and I can't wait to see what more background characters that you might have in the future with making devlog, because like a part of Snoop community is like sometimes there will be people in the community that will take a hold of these background characters, make something more out of them, which kind of continues the growth.
And I kind of like that too. I
That's
do
kind of
hope we see more of
orientation.
that.
However, I do have to warn you guys that by having so many background characters, this does mean that we will inadvertently infect the Snoot community with more fan kids. So that is a byproduct of that, and I am sorry for that.
Yeah, don't
Sometimes
touch
you need a
that.
little terrorism.
Especially considering
A price I'm sure you're willing to pay for.
especially
It's one
considering
of-
the recent strategic shift towards Latin America.
Yeah. It's
So,
one of the
listen.
constants of this community. There always will be fan kids.
We have great community outreach to Latin America.
Yeah, great
no one on our
community.
team.
I found
No one on our
out.
team is hated by them at all. There's no bad blood.
About our community, we have a really large population of like secret ties. They're hiding.
The
Like
fuck are you
TIE
talking
fighters?
about?
Or like like Siamese people.
Lady
Like,
I thought you were just gonna like laud our like great community.
Thailand
Like there's people. There's
Thailand.
people in Thailand.
Yeah, we got a lot of those. in our
Thailand
server.
Chinese people?
Taiwanese. No, not Taiwan.
No,
Thailand.
No, I'm retarded. Sorry.
Between Cambodia and Burma or whatever.
You know?
I'm not gonna fact check you on that. I thought you were just gonna say like, yeah, our community's constantly talking. There's like people in VC right now. Like,
No,
it's almost never empty.
I'll
Yeah,
catch
but-
it empty every now and then.
Yeah, but
Catch it
almost
lying
never.
all the
That's a-
time.
Yeah, everyone look
lie.
at the
Don't
VC
you
right now.
slander
Hey, how about we
I'm
compare that
not.
to another
I'm just
server?
awake
What's
at
this
goddamn
hold on
fucking
to
construction hours and nobody else is.
Shots
You know, I'm gonna be
fired.
honest
Shots
with you.
fired.
Lander.
I
I
think
start
they mostly
work by
forgotten
6,
about
right?
Montezuma.
You know.
Do you think so?
Yeah,
That
dude,
wasn't
I've
a
heard.
lasting impact.
Yeah, I mean, I did get a couple death threats, but I mean, I haven't gotten any sort of vitriol from it in a while. Ever since we kind of, rigged the whole vote for the fucking.
I don't know what you're talking about. We
The
earnestly
annual-
won.
The annual fucking thing that Ignacio snitched on. Still salty, by the way.
Snitch.
Well, now they don't get Snoot Jam, so
Yeah. Okay, I kind of feel bad about that.
That was their choice.
Yeah. I feel like we bullied an entire community into no longer doing Snoot
Listen,
Jams.
the lack of a Spanish Snoot Jam just means that opens the door for a devlog jam.
Look,
you know?
the problem is, much like all of Latin America, there was corruption at the core, so they didn't like when the big strong Americans came in and installed their own corruption.
You know,
listen, we made it into a banana republic.
So ever since I started managing the Twitter now, that's kind of what made me realize just how many pesos there were to be made in appealing to the Latin American community. Because all I get in the Twitter feed is I get
peso signs.
Yeah, and dude, I've learned more more Spanish managing the Twitter for the past 2 months than I have on Duolingo in 1,520 days, apparently now.
Right.
So
it's so many different slurs that he's learned.
I do have a question I wish to bring up to you guys. So will also some of the chapters focus on like college life? You know, life living on like a college dorm room.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the partying, the trying to figure out where your classes are.
Is there going to be a reference to Transformers 2 from 2009?
It's one of those things where it's definitely going to be a part of the story, like on the peripheral. There might be more focus on certain aspects just because of how the story unfolds, but obviously, while that is true to college life, beyond like his first day troubles and so on, we don't want to just make it like a boring scene of him trying to find a class and unless there's like something deeper to it.
I've tried to incorporate a lot of the stuff I learned over the years. One of my personal things is I spent like an unhealthy amount of time in college because I like kind of went there for free for a while. So because of that, I'm like uncomfortably familiar with the workings of college and all that shit. And
it's true. Ever since he started doing the outline, about like maybe 20% of it is his own trauma and personal experience. Just sort of.
Actually, that's not inaccurate, dude.
I know. That's why I went for 20% instead of the joke of 90.
Not just about college, though. I mean, look at
a lot of comments about his wife in there, which is kind of weird.
Are you going to include Dev's obligatory job at Starbucks?
No.
He's worked everywhere.
Yeah, he has worked in a lot of different places. But we did recently make a map of the CCC campus, and I actually based it off of my undergrad school, and just kind of did.
I do want to kind of have a map of. Actually, I don't think we've talked about it. So, like, there is going to be a town that's near the college that the gang will every once in a while kind of go to. It's a little bit out of the way, so it's not like them just walking down the street to it. But yeah, so it's like a little ways away. It will pop up.
The distance between K-State and Aggieville.
They take the bus to a lot of places. One might say that it's a literary metaphor for the transitioning between different stages in your life.
That's fucking gay, dude. I just made the door blue because it's blue, okay?
I just use the bus because it's convenient.
Anyways, like we'll have a map of that as well. And what I would like to do at some point is try to get like a sort of landscape painting for both the college and the
She peed in the living room?
Hell yeah, I peed in the living room.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if the bus is a literary metaphor, what does the shit piss in the third row of the bus stand for?
That's the problem for society, man.
Society treats the public transportation system like a cesspool of shit piss. It's the author's criticism.
Is like a equivalent of the government who doesn't really care about you and just ignores you and shits on you constantly.
The homeless man is like the Freudian id, you see.
Jesus Christ, receiver.
And the bus
You're bringing
driver,
back PTSD.
He's like our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who transports us from our destination to where we need to go.
You guys ever see the placeholder bus driver from GVH?
I don't think so.
No.
It was like a meme. No. As much as those kind of people can meme, it was actually kind of funny. And
Jesus.
Were they trying to do like the fucking points at the sign meme with him?
And I feel like we should design a bus driver based off of their like placeholder bus driver. It was just this really poorly sketched, like, black and white dino that was just kind of basically a blob, and Fang smacks him with their wing when they get on the bus at some point. Actually, I think that scene was cut from the game, funny enough.
It absolutely was.
Wow.
Why is everything they cut sound significantly better?
And what we actually got, who knows?
I have some bad news. The writers of GVH may have been hack frauds.
No.
Let's make them across as a surprise.
By Talos, no.
May.
By the Emperor.
It's so hard to get a real like view on what went wrong. I mean, obviously, so much did. I really do wish. Obviously, there's the tribalism at play where they're never gonna like Snoot Game. I really wish there was a GVH that was good.
Oh, some of them.
I mean, I should make it clear that like we do like I mean we've kind of had like a whole playthrough of GVH even in our
Made
stream.
it better.
There's actually I'm pretty sure we have it all recorded.
Fish probably has it, yeah.
Although I will warn you that it's
probably like 36 hours long or some shit like that. But
by the way, in like 45 minutes here, I'm gonna need to reset the stream so that it all archives properly, just to let you know.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
But like we make fun of GVH. I like it from the perspective of like what it could have been. It has a lot of problems, and you know it's very frustrating that a lot of those problems they seem very surface level and things that they could have easily fixed. But at the same time, you know, I do like the world. I do like a good deal of the art in it. You know, there is some jank here and there, but it does have its charm. The music is objectively phenomenal.
Best part, easily.
And I mean, even even if they didn't hit their full potential with things like the voice acting and the animation, like the very fact that they even tried to do that is legitimately impressive. It's difficult to kind of get around that, but it's They're
the potential man of AAA visual novels.
GVH fan could still get it.
Yeah, like I don't want it to seem like we're like
Stella.
Yeah, like I don't want it to seem like we hate the game or anything like that.
I
like,
shit on GVH only because I see the potential it has. I just wish it were better. It's not
like a very healthy relationship. He beats what he likes or he loves.
Also, the ending sucks.
Trish.
Yeah, I mean,
they just all die in the end.
It's not even like you can't have that. It's just I didn't feel like by the end they were friends, so it kind of just felt like they were a bunch of strangers dying on a roof.
I kind of felt like this is a big complaint, a point of contention with a lot of like the GVH fan community. I personally felt like GVH Naomi was a really overt narcissist, and everyone disagrees with me.
I don't even know how you could disagree with that. Like it's like the level of narcissism that like borders into like some sort of very clear mental illness where she just seems completely unaware of people around her. Because I mean that famous scene of her. Again, spoilers, I guess, but her like going up to all of her supposed friends and basically saying that they're all worms under her feet and that they had no future.
There was also another example that like I think this was the first huge red flag to me is when Naomi met with Fang for the first time in that alley. When Fang says
creepy.
Fang is like, all right, I don't know if I'm ready for this, and instead of like respecting her like emotions and whatnot, she just passive aggressively says like, "Oh, that's fine. I'm used to waiting for you anyway."
Yeah, she's like,
I'm like, wow.
You could have absolutely had you can absolutely have her disappointed over like the outcome because.
But that's manipulative, you know?
Yeah, like it's just like actually like manipulating someone who's like clearly going through some shit, especially someone that you apparently care about. It's very self-centered and like I mean, if you're a normal person, you should understand that the situation is fucking weird. Like you both kind of like created your relationship through some sort of stranger texting sort of thing. Like it's extremely creepy.
And this really came to a head when I was debating, like, what to do with When Worlds Collide in terms of, like, the good endings and whatnot. What happens with GVH Fang? Like, who does GVH Fang end up with? Like, you know, I don't want to say spoiler here because, I mean, I don't know when this fucking game's actually going to be finished. But there's 5 endings to When Worlds Collide, and there's one ending where you end up with one Fang, an ending where you end up with another Fang, a bad ending, and then a good ending. And when I said to people like, hey, I don't think GVH Fang and Naomi belong together in the good ending, I basically got told, like, all right, well, you're wrong, so do it anyway. And I'm like, no, I don't think that's a healthy relationship. And they're like, oh, well, you should probably put your personal feelings aside and just make sure they end up together anyway.
That's the problem. Is it's not even a personal feelings issue. It's if you look at the story, it's totally if they weren't all gonna die. Like that's the only justification I can imagine they're together at all.
If I knew my ass was grass, dude, I want to get laid by whoever's like right there.
Yeah, like fuck it. This bitch isn't that annoying, Yeah.
That power grip though.
That moment when
clearly
it's
hellish.
Is like 10 times more tolerable
Wait,
than GBH Naomi.
Isn't Worlds Collide that crossover mod with like Snoot Game and the cast of Goodbye Volcano High?
Yep.
So yeah, that was actually the first mod that I started working on once I got like involved in the community, and it's kind of just like a lot of mod makers. Even though it was my first project, I bit off more than I could chew, and
Miguel's
just kind
done
of
a lot.
like
I didn't quite realize. I played his Happy Birthday before I even knew who he was, and that was easily the best of that Snoot Jam.
I did Happy Birthday, Snoot of Darkness.
Clearly, the Boner in the Dark was the clear winner in that jam.
Boner in the Dark.
I did Snoot of Darkness, Happy Birthday, Montezuma's Revenge, Snooty Doo, When Worlds Collide.
I also helped on some of those.
Zach was my sidekick with a lot of those, yes. So give him credit.
You're forgetting Boner in the Dark.
Boner in the Dark?
Yeah, you forgot about that one. You forgot. Or did you make, was it Beaner in the Dark?
No, dude. I made Montezuma's Revenge. Beaner in the Dark was another mod from that jam. We were the two English-speaking teams that submitted
and
mods.
that's the one where Fooly Cooly comes out and starts trashing them all, right?
Well, no, that's like an updated version of whatever the
of the original. Yeah.
Yeah, like that was made by like the community as like a response.
Okay.
For
some reason I thought that was all attributed to you. Okay.
We did have references to Dino in the Dark and Montezuma though. I mean, at the end, you know, again, I don't want to say it's spoiler because I mean, fucking whatever, it's a mod. But they have to
very family-friendly story.
They have to escape back over the border in the back of a truck, wherein a certain type of Lunara rubs up against Trish in the dark in a manner similar to Dino in the Dark.
I have no idea why people had a problem with this whenever it came out.
That's not what got us to death threats, though. What got us to death threats?
And then it cuts to
there were some. I remember, like they were a minority of the hate, but there were people that were mad that we had the trans Lunara.
Yeah,
my favorite part is
not
when
even
we were
like
playing
people
it.
that hated trans Lunara. It was people that were like pro trans Lunara that thought that like we were making fun of her or something.
We actually did get a predictable amount of hate from the Argentinian people regarding the Falklands jokes.
I missed some things because I've been sitting on this couch all day.
But what actually got us the death threats was the two scenes of Naomi being propositioned for sexual favors. That was apparently what crossed the line.
That's just the thing.
Yeah, when you look at the Spanish community, what is their favorite girl? It's not Rosa. It's the fucking Parasol.
Well, the funniest part of playing that was right as they're going back across the border, Miguel's like, yeah, I don't know, this next part, I guess sarcasm just doesn't translate into Spanish. And then we play it, and it's
I thought it was fine.
The most xenophobic
I thought I was having a moment there.
I mean, it was hilarious, but I could see easily why they were mad.
I wanted it to be one of those, like, I learned something today moments. And
then she backs off. Then she backs off.
I learned something
right
moment
after.
was like her sitting there saying, you know, I learned something today. Brown people, they might actually be somewhat valuable
Maybe they're
to society.
humans. And then they get off the truck and they're like, "Well, what about all that shit you said?" Oh, I don't know. Fuck them.
Yeah, I mean, and that was supposed to be the humor in it. They
I
have
mean, it's
that, like,
hilarious.
they have
but
that
I see
moment,
why
and
they're
then
mad.
as soon as they get out and Fang realizes that she's mint again, she's like, "Yeah, fuck all those guys."
Look,
let
I think
them
it's
die."
absolutely thin-skinned. It's bizarre. There's like things that cross the line.
Oh yeah, the
mod-wise.
Goku
the,
scene.
the
was
Halloween one.
Yeah, they love
reading the Goku stuff.
They loved the Goku scene, but they
Well, that was
hated
awesome.
everything else.
I loved reading that.
And funny enough, in that mod jam, Montezuma, we didn't rig it on this one, but Montezuma did win the popular vote, but they kind of like just had to finagle and negotiate things and be like, all right, well, what if we take away like points because like they upset us with their jokes? Like, you crossed the line, you know? So
we also never figured out what that even means. So it's like there wasn't
Yeah.
like a point system in the voting. It was still, from what we could tell, like the normal like voting. So it's like, were they like removing votes based upon like the negative reception, or like was it like a percentage thing? Like what that even means, we never actually figured
Yeah.
out.
I honest to God think what it boiled down to is them saying whatever place that this mod gets in the rankings, we're going to bump it down one. No matter what. It could be first place, we'll bump it down. Second place, we'll bump it down.
That doesn't sound.
And then you
Ah.
gathered
That's what
at
it
the
is.
ball to go harass the Spanish snoot cord.
We would never do that. We are
No,
like,
wait, no.
nice community.
You didn't do that. The community just did that on its own.
It was
that
a
was
grassroots
just,
movement.
that was
We
an
were
immune
unaware.
Any accusations that Inacio has against us is false, and we completely disavow anything he says about what we did with the voting.
You were all such darn good sports.
Or anything he says about Rebecca's feet.
I don't know why
Unless
you
it's
had
positive.
Oh, okay. The more I just hear about the Spanish community, it's just like, oh god, it's like.
Listen, they're a different beast, and so are the Russians.
They really are. It's very different.
Listen, they do some good things, real good things, but boy,
Dog, I look at some of the Russian
get some
shit
pretty-
posts, and I'm
pretty
just like,
cool
that
Russian
has to
mods,
be hilarious.
No.
There's no way that's not funny.
What's
I
a
just
cool
don't
Russian mod,
understand
Zach?
No, I don't think. Have they made any? Like, they don't have a.
I mean,
the only one I
with
can
the Russian guy beat up
the
Mia.
Halloween Trish one.
Yeah, there's that,
was
one.
not. No, the Halloween Trish one was not like a. Like, that was a whole like, that's a whole beast in of itself. That's
It was
the.
originally in Russian, is what I mean. A Russian made it.
Yeah.
Yes, but the guy who made it is also like. I can't remember his name. He's the guy that made the one Trish mod that's like really weird.
Purple Game?
But he's Russian. So.
Wait, are we? Yeah, so are we talking about the Purple Game guy?
Yes.
I don't
know.
He's
sweet
Spanish.
Jesus, that
Yeah, I have no idea about that, but from what I understand, like you're talking about the Halloween like Snoot Jam mod with like Trish's sister and Anon and a specific topic. Yeah, that was from what I've heard the guy that did Purple Game. I might be slandering
that's him.
him, but yeah.
No,
so,
that is
yeah.
him.
Yeah, so
it
like that
explains a
wasn't the
lot.
Russians.
Yeah, no.
And it's
because
just really
us-
weird that he changed his name to like Mr. Twist at that exact time too. I don't know. It just it strikes me as incredibly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Wow, you're saying that having a character groom
That
a
and the
character-
name thing, Zach.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm be real, when Humo was playing that one generally made me uncomfortable.
Oh God, Humo played that. I feel really bad. That's.
I'm gonna be honest. I think that mod's the reason why he hasn't done the Valentine's Jam yet.
That's
okay,
absolutely.
actually,
You
so-
need those shit screened.
Well, like just to point it out there,
Wait.
the what the fuck? What did Anonymous Sender? That was from like the
Anonymous
last.
Sender was pretty great.
Yeah, I would legitimately recommend you guys play it. We played it last night. We went in not knowing anything about it or having any real opinion on it, and it's like probably one of the best mods that we've played. So
It was pretty
that-
fucking great. Jack really
That's
blew it
the
out of
one.
the water.
Yeah, it's the one Jack made.
shout
wait,
out to you, Jack.
What is this?
You're ours now.
Uncomfortable Halloween mod thing? What?
I mean, we
It's-
can tell you what it is, but it's pretty rough.
Sure.
Yeah.
Tell me.
There was a mod for the last Halloween Snoot Jam where the whole plot is that essentially Anon grooms Trish's sister into getting images of Trish nude for him because he in this one has like a thing
He's
for
like
Trish.
obsessed with her.
Yeah, and there's
for fuck's sakes.
And at the very end, like after you complete it and it goes back to the title screen, there's like crying, which is implied that he like
Did some not chill stuff.
Yeah. So
there's also like a real quick flashing of images that suggests like he violently assaulted Fang and she like called her father on him.
No, that was supposed to be Trish. Like it was the other way around.
Okay.
Yeah, it's that he like aggressively attacked Trish and did things. Like that was the whole reason why there's like crying at the end of it.
Very
that and
it's not even scary. It's just just disgusting.
Those Russians.
It's
It's
disturbing.
not Russians.
Disgusting.
Like we
I'm still gonna blame all of Russia.
There was a frame
when they
in there.
attacked Ukraine, I did not care. But when they did this,
There was a frame in there though that like was on the phone with whoever's father it was. And I don't know. I assume that was supposed to be Ripley.
You know, when you said Halloween, I thought you were talking about like the Danganronpa parody one, and then I just
Well, that one's funny.
Boy, that one's funny, yeah. But like, I got that confused in my head for some reason.
I do want to make it clear because like this is like a a very serious topic and it's pretty fucked up that a mod was made about that. I do not, knowing what I know about the guy, I do not think that it was like the guy had any sort of ill intent. He may have. I don't want to make any accusations towards the guy. I don't want to like slander the dude, but like yeah, it's still a weird mod even
not a
without
good
like
That's,
yeah.
No, you don't do that, man. Like, come on.
well, it's also like if you have a clear preference to a character and then you make a mod about that character being not chill stuff done, it's a little really worse.
Yeah, I don't like even though that I don't like Trish. That was icky. That's
yuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Well, you're in
not
good company.
great.
Zach hates Trish. He'll go on any chance he gets for a tirade.
Oh boy!
And Zach's
Let me
not the only
grab
one. I
something.
could grab Schmoopert right now.
So we're
Oh
gonna
God,
make
we get
how can I
two
make a
Trish
post
hairs.
How can I make a post that says Zach
I'm
hates
just-
black people?
Christ.
Mr. Zach Devlog, opinion on this image.
It's pretty
It is
funny.
very humorous.
Frieza Trish. That's fucking great.
Stupid.
Bro, has it already almost been 10 years since Harambe died?
Oh
Jesus
fuck!
Christ.
No, it was 2016, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
almost.
2 years. So
What
it's
year
almost
is it?
10 years.
It's 20.
That's or 1 year. Sorry. Yeah.
What a cursed timeline we live on.
You know,
All because of
Harambe.
Harambe.
Without Harambe, we probably wouldn't have gotten Snoot Game.
Huh?
This is what a sacrifice
what?
is for.
You know
Well,
what?
I mean,
yeah.
I
Good
should
job,
point out that
Harambe.
supposedly the whole idea for Goodbye Volcano High apparently came out like around 2016. So there's a non-zero chance that that's true.
I mean, even if it wasn't directly inspired, there's like that butterfly effect type shit. Where
Yeah.
it's like I don't know. Maybe
Just
I saw Harambe
the
on the news and I'm like,
original
whoa, monkeys are
Butterfly
crazy.
flaps its
What
wings
about
in China,
dinosaurs though?
Canadian jacks off to feet. You know, it's a whole butterfly effect. You know.
Wait, what about?
Huh?
Wait, what?
No, you know butterfly effect. Shut up. You don't ask questions.
No,
This guy gets it.
blackface.
Is Sierra here?
Yeah?
You spin.
Hi, Sierra.
Hello.
Oh,
So Zach, do you want to show them that scene we've been working on?
I think you have the final, so you would have to do it.
Yeah, hold on.
Did you see my
Nobody
comments
actually-
about the text on it?
Harambe died because we were
I did,
in the Weasel
but-
dimension.
I mean, it doesn't have to be final right now, but
I did see that receiver, but yeah, that I can't change right now.
hey, Oats. Should I show some artwork?
While they do that, I would like to announce our community night on next Friday.
Oh,
we will be playing Halo Infinite. Private lobby.
Oh, I
Yeah,
understand that. I'm
I
sorry.
wish you the best of luck to actually get those private lobbies to work in Infinite.
I will participate.
I have actually managed to do it.
You hear that,
Holy
everyone?
shit, that's a first.
Zach,
I
can
am
you
The
enough?
devlog, the devlog team will be playing Halo Infinite.
Yes. I think if you go into Receiver K's interview, there is a link to the devlog Discord. Make sure you bloat that as fast as possible. Anyway, back into it.
And spend
I'm actually
and
gonna-
spam how much hot Emily is.
I'm gonna share the screen recording I took of that
Yes.
scene since I
Please
can't stream it from this computer, but I'm gonna put that in chat if one of you guys wants to stream it.
Oh, bro, there's a roach in my low main.
Sorry, what the fuck? Halo Infinite's campaign costs money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair,
I
they-
mean,
like
yeah,
multiplayer's free.
okay, yeah. It's still.
Son of a bitch. Zach, I literally just have a roach in my food. Son of a bitch.
What?
I ordered Chinese and there's a
Is he
roach
having-
in my food.
Is he having an art contest in there?
No.
I'm gonna have to make a call. Excuse me.
Did he tell you to go fuck yourself?
All right, the video should be in the chat now.
Yep.
I don't know if it's I don't know if it's playing
Fine.
or not.
Let me open up the YouTube strap. The YouTube strap.
It's playing a section of it.
You can full screen.
That is a very well made video there.
Holy shit, you guys are fucking killing it with this shit.
Yeah, so you guys can probably tell from the art style that was what's his name, Biscuits.
Miss Guts. Baseman.
Let's go.
Not so
He does crazy good
goddamn.
work.
We've hit the shit gets real section of the game.
You know, that actually reminds me, want to ask, like, so you said, I forgot who said, you wanted to get, like, 1 or 2 chapters out every month?
Yeah, so since we have Receiver and Farian, that would be basically each one of them doing a chapter a month. And then in terms of coding, we have Jack and Soul Sound each kind of just doing the basic code, getting all the sprites, the background set up and everything. And then me and Zach would go in and do stuff like what I just posted here. Just kind of polish it up, make it look nice,
Now I do
add
have a
sound
question.
effects.
When are you going to accept my my volunteering as your official dinosaur autist?
No.
What would that what responsibilities would that role involve?
Making sure the dinosaurs are accurately labeled, telling
Oh.
you about diets and whatnot.
I should point out that like the existence of hybrids kind of makes any sort of like autism regarding them extremely like pointless.
Oh,
The whole
I would argue
hexapod thing still
otherwise.
fucks with me too.
Let's go hybrids.
Let's
I would argue otherwise, Zach.
Yeah, Zach, you ever fuck a lizard?
You ever fuck a dino woman?
But yeah,
think
so,
so.
there's that. So like, I don't know if you like went over this yet because I got here like a little bit late. You how many like chapters do you guys plan like having for divergences for like the routes and everything? Because like this is like if we can keep this pace, you guys can keep that pace up. That's quite a fucking workload.
There's
Well, already-
going to be a
already blown
pretty
the suit
easy
out.
amount, like about 337 chapters right now planned. Not too many.
So, we're currently aiming for is roughly 25 or 26 chapters total. Of
That is
those,
a little bit misleading because the last three
Yeah.
are technically like there are major divergences in the last three to the point where they could probably be considered have multiple versions of each of them.
yeah, each love interest's final 3 chapters, which will be considered the ending for that route, are basically unique for each ending. So, yeah, that's going to add significantly. Aside from that, all the chapters leading up to that, there will be some chapters that are, basically standard regardless of the route that you're in. Chapters that involve working with the team, college life, whatnot. And then there's chapters that will diverge significantly depending on whoever you're romancing at the time. So one chapter, I'll make it up, chapter 16, you'll go on a date with Rebecca to one place, or Abigail to another place, or Emily to a third place,
Yeah, just based on I'm guessing on a point system, you just choose who you want to hang out with on those leading up chapters, and then the final 3 are the big divergence ones.
So the divergence for the 3 love interests will depend on which route you're locked into at that point.
Okay.
Yeah. So, for example, you've in the first act, your choices will impact whichever girl you end up, dating. Essentially, whichever route you're locked into, and then from that point on is when the game starts to develop. What Wani would have as Olivia versus Inko points, or Fang versus Anon points. We'll have something like that from that point on. But there's also going to be other metrics as well. It's not just going to be simply a 2-dimensional table that determines the outcome of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's great. Great stuff.
For example, one other metric that we've been kicking around is basically like a kind of a team score, since the whole underlying premise of the game is for everyone to come together as a team and make a video game, and that will also have a pretty huge impact on the outcome.
Okay.
And then another kind of thing in that vein that we've been kind of trying to focus more on is small little detail-oriented divergences throughout the game. For example, one thing that people have started to notice is your choices at the very beginning of the game have dialogue and even sometimes art implications throughout the story. For example, one of the very first lines, Dev has to make a choice as to which school was going to be his dream school, and whichever one you choose basically defines whatever set of skills that Dev is going to have throughout the game, whether it's art, music, cooking, and from that point on, for example, anytime, if you choose, say, for example, the Cooking Institute, from that point on, anytime Dev eats food or, analyzes the quality, taste, texture, whatever, he'll have more insight on it. There's one scene where instead of just bringing junk food, he actually cooks a meal, and that translates into the art. So stuff like that will actually... Interesting stuff happens if you choose to eat cheese at the cafeteria at the beginning.
Calling it cheese route. It has its own ending.
The cheese route.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I did a minorly retarded. My bad.
Yeah, I was gonna say you had a definitely has a pretty good example. I would say in chapter 2, where I'm pretty sure you could choose if Dev wanted to go do writing and stuff like that, and he would mention it to Becca that he would do this kind of same thing that she did, and they would get a different expression from Rebecca and all that stuff. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, a lot of small things like that you'll see changes on, but some of them will be prevalent throughout the entire story. It'll continue. Stuff like the cheese route will probably only affect a couple chapters. But if Dev chooses basically a school that corresponds with a skill set, that will have lasting implications throughout the whole thing. And we have the writers basically working that into the script as they make it.
Okay, yeah, that's great. That's great.
I'm trying to think of other things that we're kind of implementing
Just to
here.
expand off that, the cool thing about Dev, unlike Inko and Anon, they have other established characters, obviously. Inko kind of less so. There's not really much going on. But in this case, while you get to choose for Dev, and that, obviously expands on how he interacts with the world, he still has his own character. So it sort of lets you tailor yourself to your love interest, because you'll get special little moments where you can actually bond over something with them like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you think Rebecca cooks?
Yeah, just like how you told me, hey, you should choose the music school so that you can do this character that I think you're really gonna like.
Sorry, you said special little moments where you can do what?
Listen.
Bond with them.
Yeah.
Oh
no!
Oh, Rick.
Got him.
Wait a second, you just
You were
asked
right.
that.
Doesn't mean you were right to do that.
Damn it. Receiver, you got sloppy, man.
All according to Kikaku.
I missed that connection.
Do you have dementia? You've been missing a lot lately.
We need to make that connection pronto.
Gosh, I'm very excited to see this all play out, because when I start playing this game, my first strat's going to be with Emily. I just love Emily. You've made a great girl. I would talk about her all the time. I would talk about her a lot. I can't wait to see what you have planned for her and stuff, and the future chapters and whatnot.
All I'll say is that you're probably gonna never be able to emotionally come back from our E1.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've
You're probably going to destroy me, or something bad's gonna happen. Which
said it before, but it's great to see how so many people, even though we're only a couple chapters in, and this was still the case for chapter 2 when all the characters were introduced, there were immediately lines drawn, and it wasn't people. I mean, there's obviously a preference which kind of shifts with each chapter, but it's nice to see people still going for every character. Emily's going to be great. Abigail. The worry was that Rebecca would get too much focus, but
Rebecca's definitely the most
what they
interesting one to write, though, which I think
she's
has
the most fun
contributed a lot
because you
to
can
it.
just make her be a complete shitter. The other characters have their own personal nuances that people are just going to like if they like.
Yes, it is very, I would say, unanimous that all of the girls are S tier that everyone thinks. So
what I think really sealed the deal for me is when I went on the threads one day and saw somebody comment "Oh man, Devlog's making their main girl, a muscle mommy fetish," and someone else being like, "What are you talking about? The Finnish girl isn't muscular," and they're like, "What are you guys talking about? The main girl's the little skinny raptor chick, right?" And so there was literally 3 people who had conflicting opinions on who they thought the main girl was. Yeah. So I'd say that worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
Now, also,
the issue.
Go ahead, Receiver. This will be a whole thing.
Okay, well, I guess mine will be a little quicker. One of the issues with writing that we're facing is we obviously want to make the routes equivalent, more or less. I don't want to focus too much on one or the other, but there are just sections that will play out shorter, differently, and it basically comes down to, as long as we do it well and people like the characters, that's what matters. You can't really. It's hard because we can compare, say, one route to Snoot Game, and we might be doing it better. But then if you start comparing routes between routes, that's where it gets messy. But I'm confident we'll have good routes for all of them.
I have a really hard time writing Emily. I'm going to be honest.
It's a little difficult. I think we've got a good balance so far, but hard without words.
But speaking of upcoming, future of development, Zach, do you want to tell them about how that we plan on releasing the game, or do you want to keep that under wraps for now until it's more solid?
Probably keep it. We'll wait until we're further into development, as we're still a little ways away from that.
It will be on Steam, though. It will be on Steam.
Oh, awesome!
What's your price point? Do you plan?
Right now, so I guess one thing that we can say is that because of the, because originally, whenever I started it, I made the whole point that we would probably release one route at a time, just because of development limitations and all that. At that time, it was mostly just me doing the stuff. I would get help from people here and there, but it was mostly just me working on it. But now, because of just how massive the team has expanded and the amount of support that we have, all of the routes will be in the game at launch. So we are aiming for something like $20. I know that that's a lot for some people, but we.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say this. We have gotten people
other less
criticizing.
expensive visual novels going for $40 currently, so.
We've had people criticize that, oh man, they're trying to ask more than Wani, bro.
If you're doing this quality of game, I think it's worth it.
You have triple the content of Wani.
Yeah,
theoretically,
maybe even more with assets. I mean, just
honestly,
yeah.
Like I said, Zach will make something for a single moment.
And the way I see it is you've got triple the content, triple the production of even Wani. And Wani is eye candy. So charging $40 for it? Yeah, no, that's perfectly fucking reasonable.
Not to mention, again, I honestly think a lot of the people we have on our team are some of the most talented people in the community. I mean, say what you want, Cabanon has done some great work, but I mean, it's not like they had a community pre-existing around, Snoop Game before it existed to pull the best people out of.
Well, I mean, even with Wani, they did sort of have the community, but I mean, even Wani pulled in a whole bunch of extra people as well. So
they also don't really choose to interact with the community.
I'm pretty sure they even said in one of their blog posts that they
Yes,
deliberately
they make
go
a
out of
point
their
of
way.
it.
Yeah. So I mean, we definitely are trying to find the more talented people. We try to, work with them as closely as we can so that we can make sure that stuff that we produce is as good as possible.
Yeah, and again, I mean, Jack was even joking. He's like, that anonymous sender is the mod that won him a role on our team. And I was like, I mean, not just that, dude. I was friends with you long before that, but I mean, I could see how far he's come and how good he's gotten at modding. I mean, obviously, we have Receiver, Arlock, both very talented writers. We have Soul Sound, who's, obviously made a lot of really fucking good mods. We have Blackie helps out every now and then too. I don't think he's currently helping us out with anything, but
forgetting my boy Farian.
I see Blackie every now and then. He gives me feedback on little things when I do modding stuff.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I actually, aside from the few times I've interacted with him, I don't really know jack shit about Farian. His past.
He doesn't really share much. He does, but when he's in calls, he's a little jokester. He's great.
Gotcha. Actually, funny enough, too, another person who's helping us now is Kai Lulu, the guy who's making the Bianca mod. He's helping us with a lot of promo, marketing, website development, all that stuff. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say for argue for the value of this and everything else, but 3 route. But if you guys keep going this quality and with the video that you shared as well with Abigail, if that continues and carries on throughout the whole game and it is very different for each route, and I would argue that this could surpass Wani. I would argue.
I honestly think easily so. That's my opinion. I'm an optimist here. But assuming that we have the same momentum as they had, and that we're kind of working on a community that's been established by Wani, I personally think that that's a pretty attainable goal. Personally. Also, one caveat I want to add to what I just said about Kai Lulu a minute ago. That does not mean that he is no longer working on the Bianca mod. He is still very much hard at work at that too. He's just helping us.
Yeah, we
out
like
too.
to keep him around to bully him sometimes.
Just me.
He's
just
the
me.
punching bag.
You're not allowed to bully him, Mo. Just me.
I know.
I've kicked him a few times while he was down. Sorry.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta tag Mo in. I'm like Debo, he's like Smokey. I knock him out, he comes in there to rub it in his face.
I'm gonna reset the stream real quick, okay? Just so we don't lose anything.
All right.
Alright.
Quick, everybody, you can see us slur now.
I'm on my way. Let's do it.
Jew.
Give me an N.
Mossad.
Give me an